Hello, church. Peace be to you. It's Josh Turner out here in Washington. It's kind of a nice day. It's a little rainy, but it's not so good over there. Really good over there. Big Dog's doing good, right, Big Dog? Thank you for that. All right, so today I had something I wanted to talk about, and then once I got here, Spirit kind of told me to talk about some other stuff. So from reading through the Gospels and reading about our King Jesus, his life looks very different than the way my life looks. His thoughts and his words seem to be way different than what my natural thoughts and my natural words are. And I'm not sure why exactly that is, especially if I was created in his image, whatever that means. I don't know what that means. But why is it that my thoughts are wicked? I don't mean like, oh no, I sinned. I mean like my natural default is violence. Now, I'm not violent. I haven't been violent in a long time. But my thoughts are violent. My thoughts are judgmental. My thoughts are worldly. Now, not all the time, but I'd say more times than our King would want them to be. And so I've had the thoughts in the past of, you know, maybe I'm not one of the ones that he chose. Maybe I'm not one of his sheep. Maybe it's not in his hand that I rest, which is why my thoughts are this way, why they're not like his. But the more I look at his story and the people he chose to be around him, I start to notice that their thoughts were not his thoughts either. And their ways were not his ways. And yet, he still chose them. And he still trusted them to carry his message. He still called them brothers. Told them they'd be saved and have eternal life. Well, how is this? Peter's first thought in Gethsemane was to cut that dude's head off. Now, I know he got his ear, but like Patrick has said in the past, he wasn't aiming for his ear. Thomas's first thoughts were to doubt. All of the apostles ran. They didn't understand his parables ever. He had to explain them. Sometimes it even seems like he's mad at them. Like, I've been with you so long explaining all this stuff and you still don't get it. So, maybe that's the case with me. Maybe I just don't get it. I just don't get why violence won't solve it. I just don't get why judging that person and telling them how they're doing it wrong won't solve it and isn't love. But see, my King didn't say, Josh, you can follow me and I will save you if you understand my ways and if you understand my thoughts. He didn't say that. He said, you can follow me. Put your faith in me and love everybody else. Okay, I can do that. I can't always cleanse my thoughts. I can't always take that flash of violence away from my head. I can't always take my judgmental state away. But what I can do is I can rage against those qualities. So if I'm not his chosen sheep, well then what would that mean? Might mean I'm a sheep of somebody else, like Satan or demon or whoever else. Well, if that is the case, which I don't believe it is, but if it was the case, and I wasn't a child of God, then you know what? I will rage against whoever is my father. Because if the person who's supposed to be my father, if his ways are violence and judgment, well, then I will rage against that. And even though my thoughts tell me to do something, I will rage against those thoughts too. And I will change them with the help of God into something that looks more like him. But I can only do that if I recognize that my thoughts of violence or vengeance or judgment, they are not his thoughts. My ways of violence and judgment, they are not his ways. So instead, maybe I realize that I was and am and will continue to be a broken vessel. One whose thoughts are not the thoughts of God's and whose ways are not the ways of God's. But he told me that if I followed him, that he would save me. He didn't tell me anything else. So today, I don't know about tomorrow, but today, I will rage against the thoughts of violence in my head. And I will rage against the thoughts of judgment and lust and greed and all of those other thoughts that I know are not his ways. So they may be my ways, but if I rage against them enough, and if I follow and trust in him enough, well, one day, maybe I won't have to rage against them so much. But until that day comes, I will rage against those thoughts of mine that are not the ways of his. Because he is my king. And although I can afford to lose an opportunity to be violent, I can afford to lose an opportunity to be judgmental upon somebody else. What I can't afford is raging against his ways of love, mercy, forgiveness. I cannot afford the consequences of raging against those. The other ones that I know are my thoughts and the world's thoughts, or a demon talking to me, I will rage against those thoughts because I know that those are not the way of my king. So his ways might not be my ways, and his thoughts may not be my thoughts. But eventually, if we walk long enough, we stay the course till the end of the race, our King's ways will be our ways, and our King's thoughts will be our thoughts, and we will meet with him. What a glorious day. Rage against those thoughts that are yours. Hold tight to those thoughts that are his. I love you all, church. Go in peace.